Hello there. Okay, today I got 3 legendary events and about 20 or so characters I want added into Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So let's just jump right into it because I probably could have just made this 2 legendaries and those characters and made the video just long enough, but I think we can fit everybody in here and not make the video ridiculously long. So jumping right into the first legendary event that I want would be Star Killer. So anybody who's played the images, I thought I was already on images. Anybody who has played the Force Unleashed games knows Star Killer is a complete badass. He has a place in this game. I don't know if there's some sort of rights thing or something that keeps him from being in here, but I don't think so, and or I don't know. And I've heard arguments from different YouTubers and streamers that he's just so powerful. How would they add him? And he was really powerful, but he wasn't as powerful as everybody lets him. Everybody thinks, oh, he pulled a Star Destroyer out of the sky. No, he did not. He tried to control a falling Star Destroyer, okay? And he failed at doing that. He didn't pull one out of the sky. Holy shit. One was already falling out of the sky. He tried to control it, had some control over it, but then had to bail out last minute and it almost killed him. So, that's kind of a bad argument. Then people say, okay, well, he beat Vader. I'll give you that one. Maybe he shouldn't have beat Vader in the game, but then Palp beat him. So it's not like they just, threw everything. Palp still whooped him. I think Vader should have beat him in the game, which I think in the second game, Vader did beat. I don't remember, but I think in the second game, Vader did beat him. And in the first game, Palp beat him. So there you go. That just lets you know around how strong he is. He was just a prodigy. He was a prodigy that was trained by Darth Vader. He should be incredibly powerful. All right, so that's my little rant about that. Why I remember different streamers be like, he's so powerful. How could you ever add him to the game? And it's just not, dude. He failed to control Star Destroyer. Luke in his prime was or Palp. They could create force storms that engulfed freaking fleets. Get out of here, okay? All right, so then the crew that would be behind him, I think obviously one would be Proxy. I don't know if putting Proxy in here is just going to bring him up. Yeah, no, I didn't think so. Proxy, the Force Unleashed. So, that's his droid that Vader made to train him, and he could emulate any of the Jedi fighting styles and actually put an image over himself that made him appear like them. So he could be a super interesting toon to have in the game because imagine he had different abilities where he could become Maul real quick and be hyper aggressive, and then become Kenobi real quick and be very defensive, or I think that he could be super cool. I think another obvious one for the team would be Ram Koda, because he was his master, and just be another blind Jedi. I don't know if they'd put the blind version of him or the version that has sight, but either way, I think that would be a no-brainer. Just to throw his master, the Jedi who was his it wasn't really his master. It was I guess it was, because he was a Sith before that, and when he turned to being a Jedi, Ram was his master. So yeah, this is Jedi Master. Then Juno Eclipse. Lego, huh? Figure. No, stop it. That reminds me, because it said ship in there, something I didn't even think about is, yeah, they had a ship, so you could add a ship for Star Killer, have, maybe just Starkiller and Juno Eclipse be the two required for it, and it could be a good ship. So yeah, Juno Eclipse, the blonde that Starkiller fell in love with, and she always called him like String Bean or something like that. So I always thought that was funny. He was such a powerful character, but he was very skinny, like frail looking almost, but he was super powerful. Just because of his build, he was just tall, lengthy, skinny guy. Okay, so then those are the three obvious ones. The rest of these are kind of like I got question marks behind them all, but the first one I'm going to say here is I think the most put forward that I would say to be the one who finishes out the squad, and that would be Bail Organa. We don't have a Bail Organa, and he's huge in the entire series. I mean, if he wasn't there, he was pretty pivotal. If he wasn't there at multiple points, who knows how the Jedi would have got by. Sure, something would have happened, but he was just a huge pivotal part in so many times. So, Bail Organa, the father who adopted Leia, that could be a good one. And also, because Starkiller's sacrifice led off to the rebellion being sparked, and that's, I believe, like Starkiller's family symbol is supposed like the symbol of the rebellion. I'm not sure about that. I haven't played those games in forever, but I loved them when I was a teenager. Okay, so another one, like I said, question mark next to these because they're not very known, but they are connected to Starkiller. Kento Merrick was his father that Darth Vader killed on Kashyyyk when they were hiding out. So that could be, I mean, that's just a way to add another Jedi, and or maybe just an unaligned Force user because he was in hiding out because of the Empire, so he'd be a Jedi, I think. So, but that's, not much to say about him. Another one that I just thought this guy was super cool, so I wanted to throw him in here. I always thought he was really cool. This dude who Starkiller fights and kills, who's one of the last Jedi hiding out, and he has like all this. He could have droid synergy up the wazoo because you see he's got these Grievous arms and stuff, and he was like a tech junkie. So that could be super cool. I don't even want to try and pronounce his name. Kazdan Paratus. Yeah, cool. I mean, he would just be cool, I think. So that's all I really have for characters wise. But another idea for Starkiller before I move on that I thought would be cool to throw in there is a clone. So a Starkiller clone. So you could have Starkiller and he would like be light side, and then you could have a clone of Starkiller and he could be dark side. A lot like the Revans going on because they obviously made clones of them. So that is the first legendary event out of the way. I think that with all those characters there, and I think you can make a good event out of that. Next one that I'm going to say is, I was spelling it wrong, Cal Kestis. So this was from the Fallen Order video game. My favorite ginger Jedi. That was, didn't think of it. Ginger Jedi. I like that though. But so he's cool. He has the lightsaber that can go into. He could do single. He had the dual wield. He could put them together for one of his moves. He could just be a versatile Jedi. He has a droid on his back that could do some cool stuff with him. And he has a bunch of supporting characters that I think would allow you to flesh out a bunch of individual factions. So what I mean by that is I wouldn't see like a Cal Kestis team, I don't think. I think he would be with Jedi, and unless they put a Fallen Order tag in there, which I don't see them just putting a Fallen Order. Same with like Starkiller. I don't see them putting a Force Unleashed tag in there, but they could. But I think a way to go would be to put Cal as a Jedi. The next person here who would be requirement for Cal would be Seer, who was his master, his Jedi master. So then, not a lot to say about her, but I like how she stood up to Vader in the very end scene. She was gonna get her ass kicked, but she like stood up to him for a second, and that was cool, just to show a little bit of her power. And about these teams, I think that Starkiller and Cal Kestis, both these teams would be around the same level of team, which would be like a Grievous, slightly over Geonosian, like Night Sister. It's not going to be killing off Darth Revens. It might if the Darth Revens are like a weaker relic and stuff like that, or you got like the perfect mods. Maybe there's cool stuff that you could make happen with them, but these aren't supposed to. You would have to have them more lead into more things to have them with that type of payoff, right? So after Seer, and obviously Seer would be a good way to flesh out the Jedi a little bit more. And another one to take out or flesh out the Jedi even more, because we don't have enough Jedi in this game, would be his master. And I would love to get this guy, freaking Jaro Tapal. I don't know if I said it. Jaro Tapal? Whatever. But I think he'd be super cool to get. I'm just not sure what his race is. I think he's like the guy he's like Zeb, isn't he? Is he like Zeb? I think he is. So he would be a cool Jedi. I loved his scene. I'm not going to spoil Fallen Order because it's a newer game if anybody's hasn't played that, but he's super cool. And I could see a Jedi team with him being like, I guess I see him more as a tank than an attacker, but who knows? Honestly, he could go either way. So, and this is what I meant about fleshing out a bunch of factions here, is what I'm going to go to next, is Merrin. And I literally have to put in Fallen Order for her, because for some reason, she doesn't come up a whole lot. Like, when I put in the characters for this game, she wasn't one that came up, but she was one of my favorite characters, and she was like the last Night Sister, as you can see right here in this one and stuff. She's like the last living Night Sister, and I could see her bringing the Night Sisters up a little bit more, because right now they're not that they're great, but they're not amazing. And actually, something I just thought of: what if you brought Merrin in as a legendary event for Night Sisters? You had to collect the Night Sisters to get Merrin, and then you had to have Merrin to get Cal Kestis. That would give you a reason to have Cal be a better toon, about like more to the level of Revan or somebody, and you would have the Night Sisters be able to get fleshed out more, and with Merrin. And a little side note I had here is, with Merrin, you could have Night Sister brother. That was somebody we fought in the Fallen Order games, was the Night Sister brothers who were going around, and they were pretty tough. I could see him being a tank. You could have like double tanks with Zombie, or you could make another Night Sister team, because we do have two good leaders already. Maybe Merrin would have her own leadership that would be good. I could see all of that working out amazingly, because Night Sisters is one of my favorite teams. So, and it sucks because I'm starting to come at a point where I'm not seeing as many uses for like their whole team. But you could still split. Even if I get like Kylo, I could split them up, and I could put Daka. I'm getting into stuff, so let's just move on. All right, so those are the three main that I see, like, for sure they would have to come with him, I think. But to go into the rest, which I have question marks around a few of their names, because you could get them, and I wouldn't be too disappointed if you wouldn't get them. But one would be good for the Rebellion, and we haven't seen yet, it's kind of a popular character, is Saw Gerrera. So, not young Saw here. I think we would get older Saw like this. Oh, that's perfect. That's right from the Fallen Order game. So that's not super old like this one over here to the right. Not super old like this one, but younger like that. Bald head, like me, bald headed Saw Gerrera. So got bald head. It means we are gonna fight that Empire. So he could be a rebel, and he's more. I see Saw being an attacker. Like I don't know. Yeah, I think I see him being an attacker for sure. And I don't know. I think he's a popular enough character when he comes in the game. People would be excited for him. Um. So then this one, I don't know why I even wrote down his first name because nobody called him Terran in the game, but they all called him Malicos. So he was the corrupted Jedi that you fought in Fallen Order, and he was a really good strong boss. I remember in that game. So I played through on the hardest setting that was out at that time. So I always maybe you guys had an easier time with him if you played it through. But yeah, he could be a Sith, flesh out them Sith, take them out or take them a little bit higher, and or maybe create like another. Imagine like if you put him with like Traya and stuff, if he brought them to another level, that would be cool. Because they're starting to fall out of the mix, or they still have their uses obviously, but not everybody's rushing like the Triumvirate anymore. So the last two I have here, optional ones would be the for the Empire actually would be Trilla. Why is it bringing up lightsaber? Trilla Centauri. So be Trilla. So that would be Empire, and she was a why Inquisitor. Why I'm drawing blank on the Inquisitors. And I think that you could bring the Inquisitors in, but I don't see them doing that just with her. But if you did want to bring the Inquisitors in and like make her a legendary event, you perfectly could do that. Imagine that. Imagine they made like Marin a legendary event, and then Trilla a legendary event, and then did Cal Kestis like Darth Revan level character. I wouldn't really agree with. I don't think he's that powerful, but it would be cool. But if you were gonna do that, then I would insist that we get the ninth sister for somebody to lead, Empire, and to lead into Trilla and stuff, because she was pretty iconic in there, and she's pretty badass. She's just a badass looking character overall and whatnot. So, all right. So that's two legendary events out of the way. Actually, that did that second one. I threw in a few things that we could make legendary, didn't I? So last one here. I'm gonna try and finish this one up quick because it looks like the video is starting to get longer. But this is the one I wanted to talk about the most too, so that sucks. But Mitra Surik. Okay. So you're going to have a hard time finding a canon face for her because she is the character you played as in Knights of the Old Republic 2. She was a Jedi general for Revan in the Mandalorian Wars. So she was at Malachor when it blew up, or when it did its thing, and she is a complete badass. All the characters connected to her couldn't lead to a whole lot of stuff, but I see potential for Old Republic characters, right? Because we've been visiting all this other stuff, and eventually they may come back to Old Republic, and you wonder how they could do that. And my answer would be Mitra Surik, and then you could bring in Atten, which would be like a knockoff. He quite literally he's like a knockoff Karth Onasi. So that's quite literally what I think everybody always thought of him as. So not a lot to say about Atten, but I mean, he's a light side Old Republic leader. Maybe he could give a better leadership for the Old Republic than Karth has. That'd be nice. But and actually a note I wanted to touch on for all of these guys is if they wanted to make more Jedi out of these guys, it's canon that, or it's not canon, but it's known that you in the Knights of the Old Republic game, if you got perfect synergy with most of these characters I'm bringing up, including Atten, you could train him as a Jedi. he became a Jedi Sentinel. So you could make him a Jedi Sentinel, make him a Jedi, and put a yellow lightsaber in his hand. This is just a thought, but I would prefer to see him kind of as a scoundrel leader, like as we see Karth, or an old Republic leader. So other person here, I never knew how to pronounce his name, but Bowder. So he is a Zabrak, and he's good with computers and mechanics and stuff. He has a little droid that follows him around and heals him. I think it's actually one of those little laser droids that Luke trained with in the original trilogy. So that's pretty cool. And I don't know, I always kind of liked this guy. I thought he was pretty badass. He's got this arm thing going on where, one of his arms he lost. And he could also be trained to be, I think, a Jedi Guardian or a Jedi Counselor, one of the two. So he would have a green or a blue lightsaber. But I think he would be more interesting to keep with a blaster and make him have droid synergy, because he's so good with computers and whatnot. And then, I think the droid synergy would be good and interesting with him. And then another one I have here is, you guys might scoff at this one a little bit, but Kreia. So it's Treya. It is Treya. But she wasn't. She either disguised her name at this point, or she changed it later to become Darth Treya. I forget. I think she was hiding from the Jedi, and she called herself Kreia for that reason. That's really dumb, because I don't know how you'd be like, oh no, that's not Treya, that's Kreia over there. I've heard about this new girl named Kreia. There's no way that's Treya. But I think that's what happened anyway. But she could just be like the one-handed Jedi or Sith, whatever it was, that followed around. She was a Sith, but she wasn't a Sith, though. She was... Alright, so Treia's whole thing was she didn't like how the Force manipulated and controlled everything. So she wanted to literally annihilate the Force, so it didn't control things anymore. That's why she loved Mitra Surik, or had such an obsession with Mitra, was because this girl cut herself off from the Force, and where everybody else would have rather died, she survived without it for so long. And that's why Kreia, had such an infatuation with her. So I think, and it'd be just another version of Treya to bring in the game, which would be cool. Okay, so other person here was, I'm gonna have to put in Knights of the Old Republic Handmaiden for this one. So the Handmaiden that you got with you in Knights of the Old Republic, she was trained. She could be an unaligned Force user, I think, because she was trained in. She was trained by one of the characters that was like part. Oh, this person right here. Astrus, I think, right? Yes, Astrus. So she was trained by Astrus, and you could also bring Astrus in the game as a Jedi, but she was part of the old Jedi Council, and they would both be interesting to bring in. I just thought the Handmaiden, she was always one of my favorite characters, and I thought she would be a cool character to bring in. So not much more really to say about that one. Another cool one was Mandalore from KOTOR. So, he was technically the Mandalore, the ultimate of his time, I believe, but there wasn't, he wasn't like the Mandalore, the ultimate, like the one that Darth Revan left the Jedi Order to go fight because he was killing everyone. He was just, Mandalore the Ultimate is a title that you get for being like the strongest Mandalore, I believe, or Mandalorian, and leading them, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments about that. But that's what I think. And Mandalore, I thought he was a cool character. It's just a way to get another Mandalorian into the game, and I thought he was badass. Really, there's not a whole lot more I could say about him. I just thought he was badass, and I thought he'd be a cool character to bring in when I was looking over everybody. So, last two, and I'm going to just kind of throw them together because I don't know how you would do these two. That's why I said all those other five first. But If you went dark side on KOTOR, you got Hanar with you, who was as a Wookiee, and he was a Wookiee bounty hunter, so you could add the bounty hunter tag, and he was pretty badass. But also there was a light side equivalent to him that if you were light side, you got her instead, and she was Mira. So, and she was pretty badass too. But I think I would choose Hanar over the two. But that's the thing. When I think of Mitra Surik, I don't think of her being dark side. I think of her being light side. So she would be paired better with Mira than Hanar. Last few things I have written down here is question marks here next to Visas, Mara, T3M4, and HK47 because Visas doesn't have a spot right now anywhere, and that would be a perfect place to put her with these characters. HK and T3, maybe there could be something in Mitra Surik's kit where she has good synergy with those two because they were her droids also for a long period of time. And that's the finish of all the legendary events I got for you guys today. The last bit of like wow that I wanted to throw out there right at the end of the video here is a thought on a galactic legend, which would be a I think this is a badass idea. All right, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but a galactic legend Old Republic. You could do it two ways. You could do another Revan. Okay, I know Revans are, there's already two Revans, but there's a bunch of, Hans, and there's a bunch of Lukes, and there's a bunch of Anakins and Kenobis, and so another Revan, but this one is him at the end of his journey. So I don't know how they would have to work it where they either don't give him light or dark side tag, or they give him both because he is light and dark. It's at the end of his journey, he was both, and that would be like a galactic legend, light and dark side. He'd have his purple lightsaber and his red one, and that would be the Revan that we all really think of as Revan, I think. That would be really cool. Or then you think, well, what would be his counterpart? Well, like I said, if you made him light and dark side, he's his own counterpart. He'd be like the first galactic legend that doesn't have a counterpart, and then they could just move on from him after. Or they could make him a light side, which I don't really like as much, and then they could bring the one that challenged him made him fall to the dark side, Darth Vitiate, who was Tenebrae, I think was his other name, and he was the leader of the Sith Empire that they discovered out in the Outer Rim and whatnot, that made Darth Revan fall. And I think that would be badass because then that would open up the door to like his twins. I don't even know the name of all that. That's all in like the online game that I don't know any of that, but I would see if characters like that came into the game. I would be interested in looking into those because that would pique my interest. But yeah, I want to end this video. It looks like we're getting pretty close to a 30-minute mark, and I didn't mean to pull it on for this long. I wanted to hit like 22 at max. So but let me know if you guys have any other ideas. Let me know what you guys think of these ideas. And as always, guys, this was the channel you were looking for.